Yes. Once again, this is Michael Kimathi, your hosts. This is Africa's Talking Podcasts in collaboration with Impact Masters Podcasts, bringing you movers and shakers in tech. But this particular podcast, we highlight hardware tech. We are still in the coastal region of Kenya, Mombasa, and it's quite amazing to look at what is happening at the marine economy and what movers and shakers here are doing to empower the economy around here. But in the meantime, check out africastalking.com. They provide USSD, SMS, airtime, mobile data, voice API solutions. When you think about communication and 2G last mile communication, Africa's Talking empowers business. And for developers, our APIs are always up to date and ensuring that integration is easy. Check them out. So what do you think about marine economy? There are a couple of things that comes in mind. And one of those things is that how do fishermen and amongst how people consume, the coastal cuisine, if I may call it that, value chain, processing and all that. So today we have an amazing guest that I'm going to introduce to you shortly. So today we have Dennis Okangi, who is a passionate impact innovator and social entrepreneur committed to leveraging technology for creating a better world. And his core focus lies in developing and implementing technologies that drive positive transformations in both society and the environment. Dennis Okangi is a computer scientist and also considers himself as an electrical engineer. He's been an active community member. I think I met him back in 2016 or 2017, just immediately or just close to when he was graduating. Dennis, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, nice to be here with you today. If you told me 8 years down the line we would have a sitting. When did I meet you? Is it 2016, 2017?
Around 2016.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's quite some time.
Yeah. And then he was trying to figure out, what do I do with this knowledge I have? Yeah?
Yeah, that was the time of campus when you're still in college, trying to understand how best you can apply the knowledge you gain in college to do something meaningful.
Yeah. So before even the college, I would love to know, where did it all start? Where did Dennis start? Where were you born? How was it like?
Well, for me, I was born and raised here in Mombasa, even though I'm originally from Kisii.
Yeah, Kisii.
Yeah, I'm a Kisii. So, having born and raised here in the coast region, I think growing up, I've been mostly kind of having enough time interacting with people in the fish value chain. Yeah, so it's been quite around 15 years growing here in the coast region. I went to high school in Mombasa, Moi Forces Academy.
Oh.
Yeah, then from Moi Forces Academy, then I went to Rongo University in
But before that, Dennis, so which part specifically were you born in Mombasa?
Likoni.
Likoni, yeah. And Likoni has some history. One part I've not gone or visited, visit and see how the culture is Likoni. And I would love to know, how is life there?
I can say Likoni is a bit easy life. I think things that they are a bit cheap. Yeah, even the population right now is quite growing because in 2003, people were actually it was really not really densely populated. But if you go right now, the population is quite huge. Even I don't think we'll be able to find even a piece of land for you to.
Okay.
So I think
is that good or bad?
In two ways, it might be good because now we have enough people in place.
Yeah.
But also it will be bad because every time in a densely populated place, everything is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So that means there is enough food. People are a bit happier.
I can't say enough food, but what I can say is that because of the high population, things are also quite, I can say quite affordable. The lifestyle is quite affordable. The housing.
Yeah. How much is a house per month there? Maybe say 1 bedroom.
The houses there mostly are this Swahili culture thing. So you find you can find a house for about 8 to 10,000, or even 6 to 10,000, depending on the type of house.
Is it like an open?
Yeah, open,
house?
Shared washrooms and stuff. This kind of lifestyle. Yeah, so that's why you find it's more affordable to most people.
Yeah. And in that culture now, people would ask, is there privacy?
I can't say there is privacy because I think if you're able to picture the Swahili, the Swahili house, how they're structured.
Yeah.
I think they have been built in such a way that is for people to be able to spend less, especially on rental stuff. So you being able to share washrooms and bathrooms and stuff with maybe 8 or 4 people in that kind of house setup. Yeah, that one. Privacy might be less because all the houses are kind of facing each other at some point.
Okay.
So it's really not quite safe when it comes to privacy.
Yeah, so but do you see kids learn things that they're not supposed to be learning at a young age? Or?
Yeah, what I can say, it's quite for us. I think during my time, you could find it difficult when you have different households living in that kind of house. Someone who's well off, and maybe you're just seeing adjacent to someone who has a family, but they're really not well off. So you can find that kind of experience, how your kids feel when others are watching TV and you don't have TV, and that kind of an environment.
Perspective.
Yeah, so it's kind of a competitive environment whereby kids really go through a lot and so learn a lot because they're always close to people with different lifestyles. Yeah.
And also, is it a safe environment in terms of security?
I can't recommend that. It's not. People, as I said, people live in those environments not because that's the best environment, but that's the most affordable way to live. That's why most people want cheap housing and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they have to move to this kind of rental spaces.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So how did you navigate? Because you spent maybe most of your primary school in that environment, right?
Yeah. My primary school life, mostly we were in a rental. I think it's until 2004 and 4 and 5 there when my parents decided to purchase a piece of land to be able to set up our own small structure.
That's still in Likoni?
In Likoni, yeah. So I think after that time, that's where things started changing a bit. The lifestyle changed a bit. Security changed a bit. Privacy.
Because now you can fence your.
You can, you at least you can do most of your things in a private way. Yeah. So I think that's the time when we were able now to start living kinda our own family life. Yeah, but previously living in that kind of a Swahili environment, a Swahili housing culture, it was really putting us under a lot of pressure, a lot of challenges, especially now, as I said, you cannot control who has to stay in that house.
Yeah.
Different house, how people live with their own rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people, even drunkard can stay there. The issue there is, as long as we pay, you're also paying. So this is the culture. Yeah, you've rented this space. I've also rented near to you, so I can do whatever I want.
So you don't choose your neighbor.
Yeah, so it's tough. It was tough.
And most of the people there are just, I'll not say they are coastarian. They're people who just migrate to coasts, finding a better life, and it's like it's somewhere to start.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think most population there is not basically people from the coast region. Yeah, it is quite, I can say it's quite populated people from other regions.
Yeah. And then there's element of diversity. Do you think that diversity actually contributed to the early bringing up, knowing how to interact with people, trying to solve the problems that people are facing in day to day?
Of course. One of the things is that being able to live in an environment whereby you're living with people from different geographical locations, different regions, it makes it easy for you to be able to learn different cultures, even to be able to understand how best you can you can interact with them.
Yeah.
And that really at some point also creates that strong bond within the community. But if you're in an environment where you're only living with maybe one community and that is it, it becomes a challenge when you're moving to a different location, meeting a new community. It gives you a tough time to be able to cope or to blend in. But Likoni culture, I think a lot of different people from different regions have come together. Everybody living in their own culture and stuff. But I think also that one also makes it easy for people to know that we are all from different places and we are here for business or for other things. So it even makes it easy for people to coexist, because it's nobody there is saying that you came to us. We all came here and we met and we are doing business and
So you say sometimes it was a bit hard for those kids who have TV and the other ones who don't, or these other families having 2 meals, this other one has 1 meal. So which family were you? The one with the TV or?
No. When we started, we never had TV. I can say there's a time we even used to. It's interesting. So sometimes when it may be news time and stuff, you have to maybe stay at the window of your neighbors to be able to see, because they have access to television and stuff. Maybe probably the only thing you have is radio. So sometimes you have to go closer to the window and watch news. And sometimes you will find yourself here with your family members watching TV.
Okay.
From
your family member.
Yeah. Then so that one was really creating. I can say the image is not good, but we really need to get updated and know what's going on, also for entertainment purposes. But that is the kind of challenges growing up, and that's just one side of the problem. But the other side of the problem now will be if you're a family with young kids, people want to go to other families and watch TV because you don't have or something. So that one, as a family or as a father or a parent, it really poses a lot of challenge to you. It's either now you find a way of bringing that kind of solution to your house if you have the ability, and if you don't have, you really have to worry a lot for your kid, because you don't know whatever happens in that house, neighbor or something. So that kind of culture, I think it has its own positives and negatives. But negatives, I can say it's
there
much.
There are more. Because there is also child molestation and raping happening. Security, where people get attacked and killed. Yeah. So you go to school. Which school did you go to there at in Likoni? Is it?
My primary school was Consolata Catholic Primary School.
It's in Likoni?
It's in Likoni. I think it was just 300 meters away from where from where you stay. So it was quite a very short walking distance.
And here you used to hesitate. You're the kid who everyone wants them to be. How was that experience?
In a family of 5, whereby you're the only boy in the house, I think that one really gave me a challenge. That
you're the only boy in 5 siblings.
Yes,
okay.
So that really gave me a challenge. Even though at my younger age I couldn't really realize that. But growing up, I had to realize that you see, at some point, it's me, my dad, and then we have to watch over. So that really,
Are you firstborn or?
I'm the secondborn.
Secondborn. Still, you look like a firstborn.
I have a bigger sister who
checks on you.
Who checks on me now?
What's the age gap?
I can say 3 years.
So years. Still, it's you and your dad.
Yes. So, so I think growing up, it was easy for me from my primary school because it wasn't really that far. Even though growing up in that low income background setup, a lot of things were really kind of constraining my studies. As a young kid. Like what I can say is that our parents were not able to have that stable income that could be able to sustain you in school and also
your siblings
and the siblings. And sometimes you have to, at some point you have to give priority to the ladies, because as men we can easily cope with changes and stuff. So So it was quite a tough environment. But we really tried our best our parents tried their best in various dimensions to ensure that we were in school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you ever miss like a whole year or maybe a few terms because you couldn't afford the fee and the siblings have to go to school?
I can't say that. I think primary school we were all in government school. It's a government school, so I can say So I can say things were not that quite difficult comes to schooling. The only challenge I think that was there was things outside school now. Yeah. So how can a household of 6 people be sustained with probably a father who is a carpenter? So during that time things were quite tough. And this really it was quite a struggle for my dad, especially because I can say mostly he was the kind of the breadwinner to ensuring all those things were put in place. But even though my mom also into other businesses, she was a teacher.
Primary school or high school?
Primary school. Primary school.
Okay.
So even though she had that passion of having her own school and stuff, but she used to teach in one of the schools in Likoni.
Now does she have the school? Oh, nice.
Yeah, right now she's doing well with a small school. I think he deals with I can call, what do you call this grade stamp? PP1. Yeah, those kind of stuff till standard 3. So
it's growing
it's growing.
She started with the PP1
growing up.
Nice. That's amazing. Yeah,
it's good.
When you look at it, you're like, man, everything comes together eventually.
Yeah, of course, for her that was the vision she had, because she was a teacher. That's what she's.
Is she retired now, or?
That's why she decided to have her own kind of create her own line of impact in terms of education and stuff.
And it's still in Likoni.
Likoni,
Wow, that's amazing, man. Like, it makes a lot of sense. So you're in this primary school, you have the siblings, maybe you missed a meal or two here, or maybe you want new uniform, not coming as fast, or maybe you have to forgo shoes. How was it for you to balance that and say what the most important thing is just school, and focus and say this is it, this is the only thing I need to make right?
It is interesting because in your primary school from standard 1 to standard 4 you really don't care. You're just a kid.
Even you don't realize
maybe you need another trousers, until maybe the teacher tells you that. But you're really that in a comfort zone whereby it's you and your parents stuff. But it is from standard 6 whereby now things are changing. Even
you're growing up.
A lot of things change. You want to. You want to look exactly. So that's the age probably where you put a lot of pressure now to your parents, telling them I need now to change, to have new shoes, new clothes. But it was quite an environment where we could understand our parents, know the kind of struggle they are going through, and just try to cope with it. Plus also now the kind of motivation they used to give us in terms of how the future could be bright if we could work hard during that time. So things could turn around. So that's one of the things really kept us intact.
And when you look at that, now that you are, I consider you now a grown up, and we'll get there. You totally understand the struggle.
I totally understand the struggle. Because for me, I can say the age I'm in right now, I'm even now trying to say, even my dad used to tell me, right now as a kid, you really don't see much, but just grow up. I think the things you'll answer yourself. Some things will come clear as grow up. So I think at this point of time, there's a lot of things which are really coming out clear. Like, my dad was struggling, but for a reason. Things needed to be in order. So at this point of time now, that's when now you see what the parents were going through during that time. And you really don't want to have that kind of environment. That's why you really have to think twice when you making kind of decision and stuff. So I think they really tried their best in nurturing us up and trying to make sure that we are the best of their versions.
And you've turned out great. So in primary school, did you really perform? You really performed well, right?
I can't say performed poorly, but what I can say is that I really worked hard. But what I can say is that probably is the environment, the challenging moments whereby you don't have access to electricity in your house and stuff. The only time you have good time to study probably is when you're in school. But I can say primary school life, as I said, from standard 1 to standard 4, kids just want to be kids and stuff. So studying was really quite a challenging time, especially now when you're using pressure lamps and kerosene lamps to study. It was really not a good environment for a kid, especially to be able to have enough time for herself to study and be the best in school. But I can say I think bringing up of a child, especially when you have parents who really know the struggle and know what needs to be done for things to change, that's the kind of motivation we really had, because our father was really pushing us so much in terms of like access to resources, as little as they were, but we really saw his effort in terms of like him pushing us to be able to take the opportunity to learn. And that's why I can say that for me, I realized myself when I was in 36. That's when I really started working hard. That's when I came to my senses, like, hey, I need to work hard because this is real. The challenge you're going through at home is real, and if I continue this way, whoever is behind me are my sisters, and whoever in front of me is still my sister. So they reach a point, they're saying they have a big bro. So what will happen if the big bro
can't show up?
So that really gave me a real challenge, and this really is what really pushed me into. I really need to get a good grade in KCP so that I can go to a better high school and a better university, so that I can change the lives of our parents and stuff. So for me, it was more. It wasn't more of myself studying. It was more of me studying to
get out of this,
to change the lifestyle we're living in. So it was I was doing it for our parents, and it was something like that. Because you know that kind of experience whereby you see your parents struggle, and you're like, no, this can't proceed this way. So I was actually having that kind of motivation. Let me do this to change home, and that is it.
Nice. And you really turned out well for your class 8.
My class 8. I actually got 325, which is really flying colors for me during that time.
Knowing which year was this?
2004. 2004, I think.
That must be really, you had outperformed yourself given the environment and
I remember there's a time I was scoring 299 marks consecutive until I was like, why 299? Why not 298? And I was like, hey, maybe this is what I'm going to get in KCP or something. But I really tried my best. Getting 325 wasn't a joke for me. I knew, like...
You celebrated. How did you celebrate after getting the results?
I didn't celebrate. What I can tell you is that I was really fighting to get a scholarship. And what I can tell you is that during that time, scholarships were really competitive. Because I knew very well if I go to a high school that needs my parents to still go back to their pockets,
it's done.
I was missing out, because now I have sisters behind me. I also have another sister who is now in high school. And I need to join high school. And I already see the struggle. So for me, I was like, I really need to fight to get a scholarship.
And scholarship cutoff points were like 300?
400 marks. What? During that time, it's competitive. Then, you see, at some point, scholarships, they are looking at people who are from not well-off family background, but also doing well. So there were so many who are doing well, and they are also from not so well family backgrounds. But the good thing is that during that time, my parents, I think my father had that kind of, it was kind of, I cannot say it's a strategy, but he had connected me earlier to one of the scholarship, organization, Likoni. And we used to attend a lot of the activities, even during my class 6, 7. And through that kind of bondage and stuff, we had developed a very serious relationship in terms of like even working with those orphanage kids they used to support, having all those kind of activities together, without having in mind that these are the people who probably in the future could support me academic wise. But when I finished, when I got the results, it was really quite challenging for me because I couldn't get selected because it was really competitive.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in their team, when they were kind of shortlisting, one of the team member told me that this process was quite competitive and they couldn't be able to have that kind of a gap from a lot of students who are 400, a lot of students who have 350 and above, who have been filtered. Now they come to me to 325. But I think they went back to their committee and said, like, you know what? I think we have walked a very long journey with Dennis and we need to give him a chance. That's how
you cut it?
Yeah, surprisingly, tomorrow in the morning they came and said, you know what? Just take this scholarship.
Wow. What is the name of the scholarship organization?
Hatua Network.
And how many scholarship organizations are in Likoni?
For me, I only know Hatua.
Oh, Hatua.
I really don't know whether there is any other which is providing, apart from, it's just recent, apart from now banks providing this kind of new scholarships.
Okay.
Yeah, but
so Hatua has been there for a long, long time.
You can imagine from now when I finished standard 8.
Yeah, that must
that's
be long.
The time
that's
when
like 20 years now.
Not 20 years.
More than that.
I think 18.
18, okay.
Yeah, 15, 18.
Okay.
Yeah. During that time, I think they in Likoni, they were mostly supporting students in Likoni who are from disadvantaged backgrounds, but also doing well.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I can say it was really big of luck. At the same time, also having a good background with them without knowing that this could lead to something else really contributed a lot. So I think of course, but their support they gave, it was really immense, and it was not just scholarship. There were quite a lot of things put together apart from just going to school. There's a lot of trainings, a lot of
trainings in what?
Like financial literacy. There's a lot of training. It comes to what can I say?
Is that computer studies?
They also provided extra. I can say other trainings like computer study skills while still in high school, which was really adding value to whatever I was doing. Actually, I can say if it were not for their computer classes that I got,
done computer science.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the.
And how long did you do it?
Actually, I did it. I did it immediately. I finished high school. That's when they enrolled me to a computer class.
So you are with them throughout high school?
So from my high school, I never did any computer-related thing.
Okay.
But once I finished high school, that gap period when you're waiting to join college, that's when I realized like I can do some packages here and there, learn a bit basic computing skills. But I never realized that could really change me into like, let me pursue something in IT. Because whatever I was called for to do in college, it wasn't IT.
Wait a minute, we are still in high school. So you get the scholarship.
Yeah.
Which high school did you get invited to?
I was invited to join Moi Forces Academy.
That is Mombasa.
Mombasa, yeah.
And there is Moi Forces Academy in Nakuru.
Yes.
Is there another Moi Forces Academy in the country?
Nairobi.
Yeah?
Nairobi. It's there.
Yeah. So you join Moi Forces Academy in Mombasa is a prestigious school, and
So. I don't really remember whether I was really called to Moi Forces directly. I can't remember the school I was called to, but I remember through the scholarship.
Yeah. Is how you go to Moi Forces Academy?
Yeah, because now probably Hatua had a good network because they take a lot of their kids now to Moi Forces. So for me, I kind of got that kind of connection to.
Yeah, you like put this 325 here.
You can imagine now. So, so for me, I think it was luck after luck. Sometimes I really don't call things luck. I think things also happen as a result.
Of course.
Because who knew probably if it were not for those kind of activities I did before doing my KCPE is what probably added value to me getting selected among the few. And so I can say all of those kind of blessings to realize the big dream that I really wished for.
So you joined Moi Forces Academy, Mombasa. It's boarding, right?
Yeah.
But it's not far away from home.
Yeah, it was boarding. However, I started as a day scholar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did
so
they have day scholar option?
They had a day scholar option, and boarding during that time.
Yeah.
So I did till Form 2. That's when now had to again now paid for my boarding.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just school fees for a day, but realized that now we need more time in Form 2 so that we can concentrate on our studies more, have access to whatever we need. Because now you see, still in high school, we're still living that kind of Swahili setup, and what I'm telling you, which is really quite challenging. And going back to study there, it was quite not a good environment, especially now when you're in high school.
Yeah.
So having that opportunity now to remain in boarding, it really gave us enough conducive environment for us to focus on studies. Yeah.
So when you joined the day school, how was that journey for you? Do you still face the same challenge where you can't go in the evening and do some assignment or revise or check out some what you have learned throughout the day? That present another challenge now in high school?
No, what I can tell you, my high school, I think I told you I realized myself from standard 6.
Okay.
That's when I started kind of putting myself together and saying I need to do something for myself and for the people behind me. So in high school, I happened to be selected as the assistant head boy in Form 2. And you see that one now changed everything for me. From that time now, I had a lot of opportunities. And then in high school, I also started this, what you call a science club. So for me, the whole idea was, how can I make maximum use of the school so that I'll be able to maximize the resources that are there.
Yeah.
So from there, I was able to participate in various competitions. We call them mathematics competitions, science congress. So all of those things really gave me a lot of exposure in terms of projects, coming up with innovation and stuff.
Yeah.
And this really contributed a lot in terms of giving me a conducive environment in school.
Yeah.
Being a head boy, I think being assistant head boy at some point gave me also privileges. Having good time in school, not really suffering a lot.
What do you mean?
What I mean is that leave alone
less duties.
Less duties. Sometimes
special food.
No, the special food was the main one, because now if you go to the catering room, you don't queue lines. And sometimes you
the
actually
top player always.
Top player at the same time you could even be served well, you see. So that one was really, and sometimes you have meetings with the principal.
So you can present your grievances first.
You see, So there's quite a lot of opportunities, and for me, it really, even though I came to realize that still it was going to cause a very big challenge on my side.
Why?
It was not actually reducing workload. It was really giving me a lot of responsibilities. And I realized that I was really not going to have enough time for my school. You can imagine.
For your schoolwork.
Exactly. So you can imagine now I'm in school, I need to study. Then there's this science congress, mathematics contest I need to attend. Because they used to select people who are performing well in specific subjects that are related to the competition.
Yeah.
So if it is mathematics contest, they select a few people who are doing well in mathematics.
Yeah.
If it is science congress, they select people probably who have ideas that can be presented and that can sell well.
And you wanted to participate in all these things?
I want to participate in all those things. Plus, a head boy is always hard at seat. If there is a team going for a trip,
head boy must be there.
A head boy or a deputy.
Or if head boy is not available, they will send their deputy.
Yes. If there is students who want to travel, maybe they are going for an event somewhere, there is always that kind of, you need to go with a student leader. But for me, I think during that time now, I really felt like I really had a huge gap in terms of like, I need entertainment, I need to have this kind of trips. For me, they were luxurious. So I really never wanted to miss.
Yeah.
Again, I can say that in my Form 1 and Form 2, I was not really on top 10 list. But what I can say is that I also came to realize myself well in high school in Form 2. Form 2, somewhere there. Yeah. That's when I also realized like time is moving. I don't have enough time for my schooling. So even though the leadership role that I had in high school, I never dropped it. What I dropped was actually responsibilities.
Okay.
Yeah, so I decided like, let me just become probably a class representative.
Okay.
So I left that role to someone else. You see, every year you elect new stuff, and So I decided now to remain a class rep. You see, now a class rep, you can you can say for longer if probably the student like you and stuff.
Yeah.
Then you're always a leader. So for me, I really like that kind of leadership stuff because of also the opportunities were there.
Yeah.
But I avoided bigger roles to also minimize responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So high school was quite interesting, especially for being able to participate in those kind of opportunities.
Yeah.
Having able to set up a science as kind of a science club in high school really gave me a lot of opportunities. Even being given keys to science labs, laboratories, where we could be able to study at night and even probably do practicals as a club. So that really gave us a lot of, I can say, more room to learn. Because we are there during class time as a class, and also we can be there during club time as a club.
Yeah.
So we had more time compared to other class members. So we could do a lot of research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was there moralization or bullying in Form 1?
In my Form 1, yes, there was bullying.
How was that?
I think that one you cannot. That's something you can't avoid. I was given 5 bob to buy bread. You see, sometimes you always have that. You always have that time whereby you go for church, and the church was actually whereby sometimes you go outside the school.
Yeah.
So sometimes someone can send you, and it was just for fun, but people will just have to use that opportunity to bully you and stuff. So my Form 1 is always rough for anybody. I don't think there's somebody who has ever.
What's your take on bullying and moralization?
For me, I really took it positive because it really hardens you up in terms of like. It also makes you to be sharp and also, and also tell someone that you really need to know how to fight for your rights and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you remain like that forever, I think it will reach a point whereby people have to fight for you.
Yeah.
Even in situations whereby you really don't have to.
Yeah.
But I think as a boy, it was really important for me to face those kind of challenges during that time.
Yeah.
Because it kind of posed me to the various experiences, which also made me like to face reality and
that this is how the world else here is.
Yeah. So I think for me I took it positive because I took it as entertainment. Sometimes you know that this is a rite of passage, kind of like you have to go through this process.
Yeah.
It is part of high school. Like you have to be bullied. People will come, you'll also experience, tell them to do for you something. I think there's a time also try to bully someone, which is not good.
Yeah.
But I was like
Form 2 or Form 3?
When I was in Form 3. But now, you know, when you're a leader and you're trying to do something, you feel like, this is bullying, but because I'm a leader.
Setting bad example.
But now I was doing it in that angle, like, you know, you're a Form 1, you need to understand the environment. So don't get surprised when you put in this kind of pressure. But for me, it was more of entertainment. It wasn't like I'm taking advantage of someone or something. Yeah.
What did you do?
No, I think I didn't really. It's quite a cocktail of things which happens, and sometimes you can even send someone water. You like go get for me water downstairs, and that is it.
Okay. I see.
Yeah, like you can send someone to pick for you something. Like he's not an employee, but you have to use that opportunity because just a mono.
Wash all my white shirts. Yeah, and they should be milky white. If I don't know if you guys.
But that now is the harsh way of moralization. But now there is that one way of also training someone to be a good person. Like help me get water down there. So it's kind of helping, but telling someone to wash your clothes, I think that's a harsh way. But there are people who used to do that. Yeah, and sometimes they used to expose you to a problem. Which if you don't do it, they'll expose you or something. So you end up now doing it. So
yeah. I hear you.
That's the life.
Yeah. So in Form 2, you just decide to be serious towards the end of your Form 2. What do you do different? You drop the duties, but what do you do different academically? Do you revise more? Do you spend more time doing preps?
Yeah. What I can say is that coming up with those kind of science clubs and stuff.
That's when you started these clubs.
Yeah, because now that one really gave me more opportunities to bring people closely who are top performers in our school.
Yeah.
To think of actually the main idea for Science Club was to bring people who we could do something to go and represent high schools, our high school, during science congress competitions.
Yeah.
But at some point, that one really molded us to become creative and also to expand our knowledge base stuff. Yeah.
Do you think this is where your innovation journey started?
I think it's part of the cocktail of things. Yeah.
And now, from this point now, even your grades started improving and... Because I think from then I started scoring B+, something I was not really scoring so much. Yeah.
Then I came to now top 10 when I was in my Form 3. So the whole of the term I was in the top 3 list, not top 3 list awarded during closing ceremonies. So at least that really came as also another motivation. Like being in top 10 is another opportunity for me to be able to also win awards and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was really introduced to a wide range of things whereby you know that there is always a reward for hard work.
Yeah.
There is also opportunities for taking leadership roles in various dimensions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being in those kind of taking leadership positions, also being among the top performers in school, really gave us a lot of opportunities to, that really made life a bit favorable for us in high school.
Yeah. And did you have, someone were you school mixed or boys?
It was mixed.
Mixed. Nice. Very nice. Very important. So, did you in this mixed school? Did you have a girlfriend? Some.
Yeah. High school. There's always those kind of. I can say during that time, of course,
there's peer pressure.
Everybody has to belong somewhere. That's the point. And in high school, I think there's that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
I can say, boyfriend girlfriend thing in high school, it's always for fun. People really don't know what to do about it much, but it's just always for like. You can't be a boy at this age and at this level and you don't have a girlfriend. But the point there was not like having a girlfriend in the real sense, but just having someone people can say, this is your boyfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, but
and pen pal, and you can write each other letters.
Yeah, there was. I think there wasn't nothing serious. Boyfriend girlfriend in high school. I think that is just. It's part of. It is just a lifestyle people be in, but they really don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Was it challenging or was it taking away from the whole thing?
Of course it is challenging because you see now all those kind of pressures. Having people, probably you have parents who are well off. You can just be a leader, but sometime you can say that I have a girlfriend, but now people come in, students who have parents who are well off. That kind of pressure will always take away your girlfriend in high school.
But even out here, that happens
you
a
see,
lot.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that in high school, that's where you learn a lot of, not just in high school, but throughout the academic lifestyle.
Yeah.
A lot of things teaches a lot of lessons. And that's where you learn, like, this is what happened in high school. This is what happens in this level. Probably this is what will happen even after. So I really need to strategize because it's kind of a system. Yeah.
Was a girlfriend taken away from you by the well-off students?
I can't say the well-off, but I can just say that in high school, people will always follow the flag. Where it swings, that's where they go and stuff. For me, I think it was swinging in my way during that time. I was a student leader and everybody wants to be safe. But it reaches a point whereby you just feel like this is just strategic. People are not here for a lifetime thing. It's just strategic for survival, and that was it. Yeah, you can just get friends who just want to survive that environment.
And when I think about it, especially when I was in high school, there's a guy who actually, I'm not sure, but of exactly what transpired, but they came from another school. And the rumors, let me say, it was not confirmed, but they were girlfriend, boyfriend, but I don't know if both of them had HIV/AIDS or HIV. I'm not sure. But for sure, the lady, it was, according to what we saw, she had the HIV, right? And it was shared that at that point, that's when actually, the education counseling around HIV/AIDS is rampant. I don't know if your school used to do this, because sometimes if you get a girlfriend, boyfriend, it's not a bad thing, it's a healthy thing, but it should be handled in a way that it's more educative to those who are engaged, right?
Yeah.
I don't know for you if you guys had that opportunity, because I was in a mixed school before I moved to a boys' school, and relationships were really that serious. Like, people used to take them serious to an extent that a lot of things used to happen. So, and you see now it can go even to an extreme where someone contracts some, and you can even be victimized or isolated from, because I didn't like what I saw, how those two were treated. Either it is true or not, I did not like how they were treated, because stigma actually is more than a disease.
Yes.
If you're stigmatized for something, it's crazy. Did these things happen in Moi Forces?
What I can tell you is that, you see, Moi Forces, during that time, it was both boarding and day school.
Okay.
So there are people getting experience as day scholars.
Yeah.
There are people getting different experience as boarding, being boarding.
Yeah.
But I think what was happening in high school is that people, they could bring in people, expertise, people in counseling, people in a wide range of areas, who could talk to girls, who could talk to boys, and advise them accordingly.
Yes.
So I think these are some of the things which was really reducing down the heat.
Because all these are adolescents.
Yeah.
Guys, and a lot is changing in their body, and there's feelings, chemistry is happening, and it's something I think maybe we can also even talk about it, because now, coming to think of it, it's not something you're really able to control, and it's a natural process.
Yeah.
So all you need is education around it, sensitization around it, and I think even for us as entrepreneurs and people in the ecosystem, when we engage the next generation, it's good actually we share this openly and say, it's okay, whatever is happening, just don't mess around, or if you mess around, these are the repercussions. Just be aware, so that someone is well aware. So you finish your Form 4 and you do your KCSE.
Yes.
How was it? Was it easy peasy now that you are top 3?
Well, I can say it wasn't that really tough.
Yeah. You're prepared for 3 years.
Yeah. I think KCPE, we always know that KCPE is always a little bit easier than other exams.
Oh, okay.
So,
first timer to say that.
So in high school, how you perform, you will always know that KCPE will be 20% easier, depending on how you perform. So if you perform poorly, just know you'll increase with a very small margin. But if you're really a good performer, you will be able to increase your performance. Yeah. And that's the kind of gauge that we used. So someone who is getting an A will always try his own best, because KCPE, he might get something better if you put more effort. Yeah. But if you have a D, just know KCPE won't do much better there.
What is the reasoning around this?
I really don't know, but I just know probably these final exams, people who are setting these exams are always, for my feelings, they are always considerate of all regions, people where they're coming from, to make sure the exam is not really going to affect people who don't have access to better. I don't know. So they try to.
I feel like the opposite is true.
I don't know, but they really try. At some point, they really try to make exam a bit friendly to everybody. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes these final exams, they're at some point
a bit easier
for the smart ones. Yeah. So for me, you see, like, I used to get a B+. Yeah. But I got an A. It was actually. Yeah. So you can say you got an A- because I missed 1 point.
Oh, okay.
I had a B+ of 73.
A strong B+.
A strong B+. Yeah. But you see, that means I've always been getting a B+, but weak ones. But I got a B+, a strong one, which I can say for me it was kind of an A- for me. So it's.
Were you aiming for A-?
Yes, that's what I was aiming for, because I knew it was going to be a bit easier. Yeah. But it became a bit easier, but not for the grade, for the marks. which is still, it was really, it's better you get a weak A-, it's better you get a weak B plus than you get a strong B plus instead of getting a weak A minus. I don't know whether you get that.
I hear you.
Yeah, so for me, I really felt bad because it was just 1 mark away from
A minus.
A minus.
Yeah.
So I really felt like I should go for a remarking or something so that at least I get to the A minus. But yeah.
But do you know, by the way, last year, a lot of parents complained how the exam was marked. I don't know if you saw that.
Even
They felt like it's not fair, and also for some reason people felt like, man, people could have performed. No one said people could have performed poorly. Everyone was saying they could have performed better.
You know what is funny is that when people ask for a remark and they get better grades, so so that raises a lot of questions.
Oh, there was a remark that happened.
Like
and
for my sister, he got around 350 something, 370
that
something.
Is
KCPE. Then after remark, he got 380 something. But no, that the question comes in like, so where is the problem? Why should the results keep changing?
No one who gets lower marks after remark.
I don't know, but
because
we never filed for that.
Yeah.
It's kind of as a round 2 thing was done and new results were released. And different people with different better marks.
Okay.
And that's why the question now, people keep raising question like, what could be the issue?
Yeah.
Where is the gap? Does it mean
those
people are
have
not
to trust? I mean, the system has to be trusted some way, because now if people can't trust what actually gauges everyone, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, because my sisters never scored below 400.
Oh.
So when you get those kind of marks, then they are changing now again. So you always feel like, probably I still have a 400, so maybe something is missing again somewhere. So,
are your sisters taking CBC?
No, I think my smaller sister is the last one. Yeah.
But no CBC?
No CBC.
They are in high school right now?
Right now they're in high school, yeah. Actually joined high school this year, so
unfortunately I wanted to ask you about, now that you have sisters or brothers who are in CBC, the comparison of the two education systems.
Yeah, unfortunately our younger sister is the one who kind of finished the CBC thing.
So you'll be all 844 encompassed family.
Yeah.
So you get your strong B plus, which is a weak A minus. For now,
I can say I got a weak A minus. So
it was.
But that's what I was really aiming for.
Yeah, even you can consider yourself an A material, but it's not here nor there. What matters is that you know what you learned. You are more educated, you're more learned, and you're using that to actually make a change. That's the most important thing. And Jab calls you to Rongo University, or?
Yeah, I had applied for Moi University, but I think probably they usually see what is closer to whatever you choose.
Yeah.
So I was taken to Rongo University, which was now a subsequent as Costudio College for Moi University.
Yes. Was it still computer science for Moi University?
No, zoology.
Why zoology?
I was called. That's the course I was called to perform, zoology. You're laughing the same way my father was laughing. See, the question there was, where can we get a job for zoology?
No, wait a minute. What is zoology? Is it
study of animals?
The guys who man the zoo, or
animals? So I was going to study animals, probably work at a zoo somewhere, or maybe work in a museum,
or in these guys for KWS, Kenya Wildlife Services.
Yeah. So.
And what did you select at Moi?
A lot of fancy stuff, but
like medicine,
skyrocket things. But I wanted something to do with engineering and stuff.
Electrical
engineering. Yeah, those kind of things which are for people
with A's
and stuff.
Not weak A minus.
Not weak A minus. So those people were lenient enough to take me something closer to where I wanted to go, but maybe they thought I really liked sciences, and but that was really far.
I haven't moved away from zoology.
Yes. Plus, again, I think probably they checked my high school stuff. Nothing to do with the computer was there. Probably this guy was just business, history. See,
you didn't do physics.
I did physics by the way. No, I did physics.
Did you do chemistry?
I did chemistry.
Did you do math?
I did all those. I think Maybe they checked something else.
The B plus.
Physics, chemistry, all those were A's. But now, probably something happens in English.
Oh, English was not
I think English is what probably
C minus.
didn't give me an A minus. No, I think I got a C plus.
Okay. Swahili.
Actually, I performed. I think
engineering they don't check language much as long as it's above C plus. Okay, for job maybe they might, because if you get all A's and maybe get one B or B plus, of course it will never be an A.
But why zoology? You see, that's really raised a lot of questions.
Also depends how people perform that year.
Yeah.
Because if the cutoff point is this, they have taken enough for that quarter.
Yeah.
And then also where you are located. You see, if you're in the Garissa and you get strong B plus, you might even do medicine.
In Garissa?
Yes.
You do?
Because there are some places where for sure you know this environment is harsh.
Why should but why can't they take us to Garissa to do our course of choice?
I'm not sure, but you see, think of it this way, and it's good you're having this conversation, and maybe one of these days I might host someone from, now it's not called JAB, but there's another organization. KUSIP, or you hear now even it's crazy, man. So one of the things, and I didn't know this, I had some weird question around why this. But think of it where you need every religion to have a doctor or an engineer or all these, even a zoology guy.
Yeah.
So you need to divide those opportunities equally so that you don't have doctors coming off from Nyali or from Likoni or from Kisauni.
Yeah.
So that presents a challenge that what if these guys are not willing to relocate? All right? Or if you send some of these guys in some places, it will not be where they are used to, right? But if someone is from Mandera or Wajir, they're more familiar with the problems in that region. So if they become a doctor, when you set up an hospital there, the chances of them running this successfully is high.
Yeah.
You get that?
I get it.
So it's a matter of that, and I think it was passed with in the either in the parliament or constitution. Even way before, there used to be a quota system.
Okay.
So as much as you're taking A's for medicine, consider marginalized communities which actually maybe someone attends school wherever they can, or maybe from midday, and are comparing to someone who actually maybe is in the boarding school or in the private school. So there's some logic around it, and I think it's supported by science and the law of the country to ensure that it's all balanced. The same way you said you got 325, but the scholarship was offered for 400 guys.
Yeah.
But maybe even when these guys are convinced, they realize, this chief, with all the challenges, he could manage 325. But he has been getting 299. You get those. So if we give this guy an opportunity, there's some potential. And you see, maybe most of the time they were right.
100%.
Considering what you're doing right now. So I think that's the basis of that. But I've just broken it down but I'm sure there are even laws that support the quota system.
Yeah.
There's a policy, schedule, university schedules that come with it. So you get zoology. That was JAB, right?
Yeah.
At Rongo. Rongo is in the border of Tanzania and Kenya, or towards the border?
I think it's between Kisii and Migori.
But that's all the way.
Yeah.
Never been to Rongo. I just hear people.
Yeah. So, but the good thing is, it also took me closer to where we stayed. Home. Yeah. So it wasn't that really bad. Yeah.
And when you got there, did you do zoology maybe at least for a year, or how did you end up doing computer science?
I think during our first term, first semester, we had that kind of room. Do you want to change? Do you probably want to change a course or something? Yeah, and I really rushed very fast to see where
there's an opportunity.
Yeah, so for me, when I saw there was opportunity, there was a vacancy space for computer science, and I've had that kind of background, studied some few computer packages during my gap year period. I really thought probably this is something I can scale with. I can try to test out. Yeah, because it was not much into there is market out there.
Yeah.
But it was much of it was interesting. I think the package thing was really interesting. If this is what I'm coming to expand here, probably it could lead something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's from through that now being able to change the course and getting to experience a lot of things there. That's when I also. But what I can tell you that one of the things also which motivated me to change to computer science is that still during the gap year period, that's when I got linked to Swahili Box by Hatua.
Okay.
Because Hatua realized now this student has passion in he has done packages, he's interested into tech stuff. Why can't we link him to a tech company in Mombasa?
Yeah.
And that's why I got linked to Swahili Box.
Yes.
Yeah. And then now the passion for tech also grew up again.
So at this point, Swahili Box had started.
Yeah.
Which year was this?
In 2000 and is it 20? I can't get it. 2008 there. I think 2010 there when I was almost finishing high school. Yeah.
Yeah. So you joined Swahili Box. What did you do at Swahili Box? Did you do coding, programming?
Yes. I did a bit of coding, but mostly on IoT. IoT. I was mostly into IoT.
Into hardware. And I know for computer science, you don't do so much hardware until you do semiconductor,
Yeah, you see, but now the kind of IoT we are doing there during that time before I had much skills in university. It was quite a plug and play thing. It wasn't much in depth in terms of building complex IoT stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was quite easy to grasp with the little information with the little knowledge that I had. Yeah, but once I started doing computer science in college, I was able now to connect theory and hardware and see how things match.
Nice. Yeah. So were you doing this every time you're on holiday, or after now going to Rongo, you spent 4 years doing computer science?
Every time I was having a holiday from the university, I went to Swahili Box. Yeah. Even though when still in college, we could be able to get events organized and we could be invited. So for me, I had those kind of opportunities while in university. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that means now that's when we met.
Absolutely.
Maybe I think you had just graduated, or you are in your final year. Some.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And you are a cohort of guys who are doing an amazing job in the ecosystem and in the world. If I remember about it, it's just that cohort that I met. I'm so happy that you're seated here today.
Yeah.
And for me, I met you in 2017. So at this point, I'm assuming that maybe you are almost completing. But how was your university life in Rongo? Because I know Rongo is like a remote town, or I don't know, remote place.
Well, what I can tell you is that life in campus was, I can say, for me, it wasn't that really tough, because it was just tough in its own way.
Yeah. Because
of the environment setup.
Yeah.
But because you see, still I had the scholarship from high school to university.
And now you have help?
Again, there was help. You see now?
Then you are living like a king.
So then now, to make even matter better, is that there's an innovation I did while at Swahili Box.
Which was paying?
Which was paying. Which now I used as a university project to represent the university in exhibitions and stuff. So the university was really into the innovation. In my first year in university, I started now representing Rongo University in various exhibitions with the innovation.
Okay.
It was, I think I built an agricultural a greenhouse monitoring solution, IoT based greenhouse monitoring solution and stuff. Even though after that I came and advanced to a new technology, which was kind of an automated security system based on IoT. But all these solutions, I was like building something to represent the university. I was not thinking business wise, like this is something I can make a business with. For me, I just want to take that advantage of, like, I will get opportunities, I'll get networks. Because through that, I was even able to get payment from the university to build the innovation better, so that I can present something tangible outside there. And also all those kind of facilitations also adding up to a better living style in university. So it was really helping.
Yeah. You didn't get tempted to marry? Sometime in the university you can marry temporarily for 4 years.
that is natural. That's always
Oh,
there.
you married in first year until fourth year.
I can't say I'm married, but I can say like you're always engaged in university. Yeah, like that's of course. The pressure starts still in high school, so you already have exposure to those kind of environment. Then when you go to college now, things even get more immense because now that's a free zone, a freestyle zone. It's you against the world now to see how you manage yourself and stuff. But all those opportunities really contributed a lot in terms of having a simplified environment whereby I really don't have much stress when it comes to what to eat. But it was quite intense in terms of like, how do I manage all these things? I have all these opportunities at hand. They are good for me in the future. Still, I have all these courses I need to do. I have all these projects for course related I need to do. So I remember there's a time I almost missed an exam because of I went for a project somewhere, you see. So even though it was related to, it was based for the university, but at some point I realized that I was really not preparing myself well for the exams. So until a point whereby I felt like I was almost going to kind of
flop,
taking another exam and stuff, and this
supplementary.
So managing all these things was really quite tough. Even though for me, from the second year, I realized university is good to prepare you theoretically and stuff, but whatever you do outside there hands-on
counts,
which really counts, because that's what was paying me during that time. It is the hands-on things that I used to do, which I really never acquired it in high school.
You're not tempted to drop out of school?
I know, probably if I was a politician, maybe.
Why politician?
Because I think probably the kind of opportunities they get is way more better. But I was not really interested into politics.
Politician like in school politician?
Politics, or school politics, university politics.
Oh, okay.
For them, I think they really don't want to graduate. They really want to stay
in the school.
Until maybe you get a better opportunity, which is way ahead of university and stuff.
I see.
Because there's a lot of opportunities. I think this per diem stuff, going to represent university, you're given 10K for 2 days, and you're still in high school, university. I think that really meant a lot. If you're going for 5 days, this is almost 50K and stuff. So you see, sometimes you really feel like I need to focus more on the projects now. Because these are a big thing than studies. But at some point you realize that this is just for some time in university. This is what will mean for a lifetime. True. I really find a way of balancing the two.
So when you just focused, you reduced the projects, or you just balanced the two?
What I did is that I really never reduced in terms of like I just reduced the number of engagements I had. Even though sometimes I could just let them choose someone else for the exhibition. Even though sometimes you find that it was a push from the university that we need this innovation and this and that. And
Okangi then is the only one who can deliver.
I was among the few people who had presentable projects. I can call it presentable projects. Somehow everybody had a software thing that you can present, which is really common and stuff. But when people see something moving, a hardware, you see, hardware, people are always attracted to a hardware. So it was really selling much. And even having in mind that it was also an innovation on agriculture, it was really taking me to a lot of agriculture showgrounds and stuff. So any agriculture related showground, they needed something related to agriculture, and that's probably what was available. You
know what you reminded me? There was this time I did a Science Congress project with a colleague of mine who is a mathematics genius in high school. They're from the northern part of the country. Actually, I met him the other day after talking about him in one of the podcasts. This guy was just mathematics genius for some reason. And I convinced him for some, he was my destiny, so I convinced him why we should be doing this project, because the school itself never participated in Science Congress. So we had to prove the project really deserves the attention of us, even getting facilitated to go to the Science Congress.
Yeah.
And one of the teachers actually became our patron, a champion to get things done.
Okay.
And we went to Egerton. I think it's called what nowadays? Chuka University.
Okay.
Used to be Egerton Constituent College then. And actually we impressed the Science Congress judges because there were colleges there, stuff. So they said, given how sophisticated this solution is, you'll have an opportunity to represent us at the showground. And we got an invitation. So my mathematics fella, hearing that you'll go and sleep in another school, that rather than getting paid for a nice hotel and stuff, he was even to go there. It was a lot of convincing. He wasn't that excited, and he was just reserved and stuff. So we said, okay, I'll represent. So I went there. And it was a bit tricky. I don't know if there is funding that was given, because I'm sure there is some partnership of form. But how, we used to, if you go to school, you eat the food from that school instead of, because you see now here, you're representing your school away from where you stay. And I'm sure you pay activity fees that should take care of you. And the school I was in didn't have that much activities. But the projection that we did was really, really amazing, because even where we got the stand was just next to Chuka, with current Chuka University, which was Chuka Egerton Constituent College.
Okay.
And at that point, that's when I realized it's crazy, man. Like, you're in high school, you're in Form 3, you're here just next to the university, representing to the same audience. And that's the first time actually I realized age is just a number somewhere. Yeah. If you put in work, even if you're 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, you could go places by what you build. And guess what you had built? An hardware, a diagnostic hardware, diagnosing 4 diseases, but using digital circuits to diagnose. And we had this board, like the one, okay, this is not a board, but it looked almost like this. And then we had different bulbs, malaria, cholera, 4 diseases, typhoid and whatever. And then we had similar symptoms aligned. So if the circuit connected, maybe headache, diarrhea, vomiting, it for sure it gave an indication on maybe malaria. You can see how simple it is. But you see, if you have a breadboard or circuitry board, you could actually you can diagnose all the diseases at a go. And I think the hardware is getting there eventually. But even so, the software is getting there faster.
Yeah.
Look at ChatGPT. You just ask some information and then it can guide you. But the point was not to replace the doctor, it's just to fast track the process. So for me, by then I was just wanted to go to Science Congress, to be honest.
Okay.
And I found that something that actually could make me win until at that level I could go to the showground and show it. But now that we're talking about Science Congress, I think there is a lot of innovation that could actually contribute to the modern day innovation. They just need more, more support, more guidance, and people collaborating. Because we have so many chemistry, experiments. We have so many biology experiments that, able minds present, but they just end up at the national level. That's it. Yeah, I thought I should share that for my Science Congress.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that project actually I translated in my second year university project using software. Yeah, and I got a very good grade. The best you could get in the university.
So at the end of the day, did you leave because for me, one of the challenge I had was I never wanted to get this kind of innovation that I was doing in university to my 4th year. I had to change it to a different innovation because it was going to be a university project. Because you see, and you cannot monetize it outside. So I decided to kill it at some point, do something else as a project now because that's the kind of strategy I did.
Yeah. No, I had 2 separate projects at the university. It's just that I felt like, I got my first laptop at second semester. when you need to deliver projects. So I needed to deliver it really quick.
When you're high school, are you in college?
In university.
University.
Yes.
You say that you remind me a colleague who was left by his girlfriend to the guy who had a laptop.
Sometimes it's so petty. Yeah. For me, actually, it was because of resource challenge. And I know so many guys who are in the university and just you can only afford maybe statutory fee. That's it. And you wait just for help loan.
Okay.
If that doesn't come through, man, you're screwed. These people maybe nowadays people are not struggling that much, but I believe there are people who are still figuring out if my kid passes. There are parents who actually are afraid of their kid passing to go to the university because they don't know what they're gonna tell them, how they're gonna take them there. They just believe something will happen. Right? So and I think if we really want to change Africa's at large, we need actually to have a strategy like how do we under our brilliant mind, how do we support and I think you can be a champion of this now that at least you have seen when you shake president's hand. Whether you are seated with someone who shakes the president's hand like nothing is happening, you have met some guys from the UN, you have met some who is who in the world, and we'll talk about that a bit. It needs a proper strategy where and then we'll be able to celebrate and see the fruition of some of these innovations. So it's very important to note that. Chief, you finish your university, present your final year project. What was it about, the one that you did present?
For my final year project, I've even forgotten what I presented because I changed to a software. It was a voting system. Yeah.
Tell me about it. I also did the voting system. Was it for SACCOS, for IEBC, or for?
No, university voting system.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you see, even though that's something I actually, before finalizing that innovation, it was supposed to be tested in the university for the election, and there was quite a lot of commotions, even from student leaders. They just told me if that innovation is going to be used as a voting system,
come for you.
We will come for you, bro. And that's really what scared me most, because when students in college or university tells you that kind of a threat, it will happen. That's what will happen.
They can see it through.
Yeah, because if you are waked up during the midnight to go for a strike, you see, by just students, and that happened, what can happen if student leaders won't give you that kind of a stern warning? That's all. For me, I decided no, this is just for my academics. It's not to be implemented or done something. Yeah. So it was basically a voting system based on USSD. At the same time, we had this dashboard where people could stream real life streams of votes, because now people were fighting on transparency.
So which USSD did you use?
During that time, I used Africa Stock. Yes, that's the only one which is available.
That's amazing.
Plus, you see, having a background in PHP and during that time, basic PHP, vanilla PHP. I think it made work easy for me to just prototype and come up with something, because basically an API thing and being able to make something people could test. And actually, the voting was done via Sandbox. See, it was like a test platform where people can just use a test platform to access the USSD. Yeah, but because of its functionality and people having to also view votes in real time, when you already have a dashboard, a database with photos of the candidates and everybody who is voting. It's anonymous, but still people are able to see already who is going to win or something.
In real time.
Yeah, but that's the kind of idea that I decided this can be a university project, even though I knew it's almost 99.9% hard to be implemented in universities.
No, I hear you, Kaka. I hear you. I went all the way. I said I briefly worked for IEBC when they were when they were taking the biometrics.
Yeah.
You know, right now the IEBC uses biometric to verify the voters. So I was part of the team, the initial team that actually was helping them with the computing around that.
Yeah.
For around 3 months. Of course, you know, they got the system, I don't know, from France or something. But of course, it had a lot of bugs, needed to be patched. So that I did that at scale for at least one constituency, I would say. And ideally, I was supposed to be a supervisor. But when the I don't know what they are called, the guys who head the constituency, the head, you know, how IBC works is that they have like 3-4 employees in every constituency that are permanent employed. So you'll find them there after all these other guys temporarily who work for IBC, which is like graduates, maybe from 4 leavers who work during election or when they want more workforce. So when this head of that constituency realized what I'm doing in school is computer science, and that's when they're trying to do biometrics, they promoted me a bit to help them with the patching so that they don't keep going to Likoni Road in Nairobi to get the work done. And, you know, I got a good package. I was happy. So this actually idea gave me like, why the hell do you need all these so many computers just to do a simple thing like election? But when you think about it, if we're really honest that we want to implement elections, it should be a 2-hour affair. And you know your president, you know your county. I hope these guys will not come. You know your governor. You know all these. I hope they will not come for me. But it should be a 2-hour affair. Very fair, very open. If there's any repeat or tie, you can do it again 2 hours and you're good. As simple as that. And actually can be easy as USSD, can be easy as SMS, can be easy as voice.
Yeah.
Simple. Such a way that if you can't vote using your hands, you can actually vote using your voice.
But you see, now still people will always create stories like, how sure you everybody has a feature phone?
Regardless, if they don't, you can have centers where you can access these resources.
Yes.
But ideally, if we really wanted it to work,
exactly,
it would work.
Yeah.
It's just that we don't want it to work. And when I was building this system for my 4th-year project, my supervisor told me bluntly that this is, yes, it's noble, it's good. I would love to see it, but it won't fly. The reason it won't fly is because when you are building any system, it's not because it can be built. It is because can it be used. And I got it. So he said, if you're really ambitious, build it for circles. Build it for, you know, maybe school voting system. Yani, build it at small scale. So this is what I did. So actually, I built it for still the normal voting, but at manageable scale.
Okay.
And it was really impressive. So I hear you when you say the leaders at the school level also are worried, because sometimes people who become leaders, not necessarily that everyone voted for them. Maybe they found their way out. Maybe, you know, something happened along the way. But I would say there's a gap there that actually could be filled. And it's now, even with AI, imagine time is catching up with the people's way of doing things very fast. Because very now fast. If you add AI in those 3 modules I've mentioned, it becomes much easier.
Much easier.
Because there's voice recognition, there's voice to text. All these, when you combine them, it's a recipe for success.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my experience with voting system.
Yeah.
But ideally, the thing that I would have to know, did this project serve the purpose of passing the exam that you built?
Of course, it was accepted as a final year project.
Yes.
So I passed that. So it did its work, which means like for the sake of the university examination and passing the mark, I think that one I scored with flying colors, and that was. But the challenge was, I just did it for the exam. I took a lot of time building it and stuff, just to showcase to supervisors that this is what I've done. And Yeah, but it's really painful when you make something that can't be scaled. So that's the only I can say was the only painful part. Probably I thought of maybe just putting somewhere open source now for people to deal with it.
Yeah.
At least I can say I did something meaningful.
Yeah. So it's an open source project right now.
I wanted to do it, but I decided to put it private for some reasons, even though, yeah. But probably maybe in the future I'll release it open source, and it's among many projects I did in campus. But
yeah, maybe open source it. Maybe you can contribute and see what turns out from it.
Yeah.
Now you finish your undergrad.
Yes,
and you come to Swahili Box fully.
Yeah,
that's when we met, or I'm not sure. Yeah, around 2017,
sure.
right?
I graduated 2018.
Okay, you were at some few semesters.
Yeah, I think I met you probably when I'm almost. Yes.
And you're outstanding, actually. You remember we met at Kamara Center?
The Tech Tap, exactly.
Where Japheth was, Daniel, I think, Checheruto.
That whole big team.
Yeah. You guys are making it. Actually, most of you have made it. I don't know, some of you are there, but majority of you are not.
Yeah, I think Swahili Box has that kind of a blessing hand. I think almost, if not 199% of the people who have walked that road through Swahili Box, and they really have a story to tell.
Does it still exist, Swahili Box?
Yes, because up to date for me, I meet with my mentors. I still call them my mentors right now because we meet with them, and probably it's more an advisory partner for my business.
Yeah, they need to be proactive to some extent and revive the whole process. But that's a conversation that could be adding different quarters. So you come out here, and now you start building hardware seriously for money. You know, sometimes it's you never know what will sell out there, so you just have to. I started by first of all freelancing, trying to build solutions for people and stuff. But I realized that was not really not really my thing, because I don't want to be doing different projects every now and then.
I just wanted to build something, then scale something, then grow with it. I think that's where my passion was mostly there. So I've been really working on various projects, testing them out and see what the market says. Even though when starting up, I started making things without we call it the top-down approach, which was really not working out at the end of the day. Because you build a solution, then you go to look for a market and find people who can buy it, and you get feedback. Don't build this thing now. Do something else. So you're really wasting a lot of time building a solution, then look for people to buy into your idea, and it was really not working out. So I have a lot of banked projects which I did top down, and after realizing that this is really not the way to build a project, to build a business, now I decided to do a reverse way of doing things. Now, first of all, listen to the people, seeing firsthand what's happening, then see what can be done to bridge that gap. Because now people already have a problem, and they really want a solution. So if you present a solution, they'll be like, of course, this is what you're experiencing. I can buy into your idea. And then So I never had that kind of knowledge before. I think I can say I acquired it through a lot of interaction, a lot of feedback from people. And that's how I came to realize, like, it's not always just about building solutions, because you said sometimes you can build solutions, but are people really willing
to use those
solutions? Because if there's no use for the solution, then you're just making something fancy for nothing. So that's why I decided, like, there are so many solutions to be made, but if people are not willing to buy into it, then there's no need to waste time.
True. So at what point did you now build Kuza?
So Kuza, I did Kuza after 2 failed projects.
Project number 1.
Failed businesses. So the first business was I called it. The company was called Nopola Technologies, which I had built, and it was mostly dealing with GSM-based tracking systems for cars. I cannot term the solution at the business as I cannot say the project failed or the innovation failed, but I can rather say that how I launched the business, I used wrong strategies.
Go to market,
I used wrong strategies, which probably I can say they are also bad decision-making processes, which really made me which I came to realization in late time when I've already made a very big mess. So that's what happened with the first business, and I decided to also think of how can I, because I think I can say the first company which I made, the kind of idea I did was mostly capital intensive, and during that time I really needed capital to be able to build it. And during that time I was really desperate for money. I'm just looking for anybody who want to put money here. I built the business, but I really had very less background in terms of investors, money and equity and stuff. So there were quite a lot of challenges raising the business, trying to break in, come cash positive, and having in mind that now as an entrepreneur, that's the only business you believe that can pay you, and it's still not paying. You can't do any other business, because if you try to do another business, you will one of them will fail. So it was really quite a challenging moment, because I was only now depending on who can put money in the business that you can grow it, because I will only survive in this business. So it was quite a challenge, because now I decided there is this investor I've already given 45% with probably less than almost $1 million, just $1 million Kenya shillings investment. When someone came to my relay, what is 45%? What does it mean?
That is like $10,000.
Yes. So by that time, you see, you're just desperate for money. Then it was just a total mess. And then get another investor who is willing to invest in your business, but you've already made a very big mistake, giving out a huge chunk to the business with very little investment, which probably didn't do much. So I decided to do a lot of mass classes, learning how to deal with investors, what are all these kind of terminologies and used and stuff, how to best protect your business and ensure that, especially in raising money for the business. So there's quite a lot of information I had to come back, learn, and then strategize well in the next business. Also working with partners, it was quite a challenge. The people you give equity to and stuff, the people you're working with, they were really not quite sharing the same vision. And that's where really a big problem came in. When people now have divided visions for the business. Someone is there for profit, someone is there for probably some other salary and stuff. And that really kind of killed the vision of the business. And I decided, I think for now, let me try to walk alone and probably get someone who is very close to the vision that we are doing. That led to another business. Which
wait a minute, but did you just pivot this one? How did it work? Did you consume $1 million and $1 million Kenyan shillings, and
the business became bankrupt? You see, now we are not able to operate. There are a lot of bills to be paid and stuff. So we decided, let's go slow on this. I think there's quite a lot of things we can do. I'm running on debts right now. The business is not doing anything. So it's better I think we go back and reflect. So
now, how did investor handle losing almost $1 million Kenya shillings?
You see, it's not. I cannot say that we killed the business.
Okay.
What I can say is that the business has not been funded well to scale.
Okay.
So it
still exists up to today.
It's still existing. The only challenge is that now it's quite hard to get another investor right now to invest.
Because already someone owns 45%.
45%. and the business is still in its infancy stage.
So that like you find someone in ICU, but you want to take one kidney.
Yeah. So a lot of
you
people
already have taken one kidney.
Exactly. So now tell me, you as an investor, you want to come in to put 5 million,
and someone has 5
in exchange for probably
maybe
10,
the 45% guy should give maybe 10 or half. I don't know.
Yeah, of course, that's something that should happen, but now it's quite a debatable thing and stuff.
Because now the investors also feel like, I put in $1 million shillings at this rate.
Yeah, so for us, we were feeling it more, political something. Yeah, and that's why we started having a lot of people dividing up and stuff.
So initially you're not alone.
I was with a team, yeah. So when people start dropping down, I decided like, this is my innovation, this is my idea. Let me just take it slow. Probably we can have a sitting another time to discuss about it and see how best we can take it out. The innovation had a market. We had a lot of security companies.
Of course, GSM, car tracking.
There are a lot of security companies who had already coming on board. But now the challenge was there was no funding to scale the business. Plus, people want to come in to fund the business. They were like shying away. I want to be the solo probably invest or something. What have you been able to do with whatever funding you've received and stuff? And there was really not much, and that raised a lot of questions. So I think it's quite, for me it was quite a learning experience because all those things happened because of lack of knowledge at some point. Plus also when you're just fresh from college and someone is telling you, I have $1 million here, can you give me 50% of your company?
You're like, by all means.
Tech. Actually, I'll give you 60. So, but the point is that you're just excited for the money. You really don't know.
How big
this could lead to,
and how do you scale this?
So I think we were really missing a mark somewhere, but because you're just excited and those kind of stuff, we made quick decisions, which really, I can say, were really not good at that time. But it has been quite a learning curve, understanding the startup ecosystem.
How do you raise funds?
How do you raise funds? How would you run a business first? Then how do you raise funds? All those things has been quite a learning experience.
So you now start the second business.
Yes.
What was it?
The second business was a record keeping solution for small businesses. It was called Tekizo app.
That is a software. The first one was hardware.
Because I decided to do something which is less funding and stuff. But now still the problem that I didn't solve is that I never had skills in choosing the right people to work with.
You didn't learn from the first experience.
Exactly. What I wanted is that I was like, who is willing to invest money so that we can become co-founders in this business. So people are willing to put 100K, so that for me, I can say I just valued the software at 100K during that time. I said, okay, let's build a business, then we do that. But before that, there is something, before bringing the people together, I had applied for a grant from the government. It was called...
For the same project?
Innovation. It was called Mbele Biz. The grant was 3.6 million. So Kenya shillings. When I qualified for the grant, when I applied for the grant, I was a solo entrepreneur, just ideating with a fancy name that I have as a company which I'm expecting to open. But then it took a year. This government stuff sometimes takes time. So after a year and a half, that's when they shortlisted people, and I was among the few people who were shortlisted for, I think it was 700 people, entrepreneurs. Around 300 people qualified for 3.6. Others qualified for 900,000 Kenya shillings. So the challenge there is that now the government needed to put this money to a business, a registered business. But it was for the youth, for you. The people I'm working with were not in the youth bracket. But this money needed to get into the company. I can't open another company now. I have a span of 2 weeks to deliver these documents and stuff. I told them, let's just put them. When we created this business, that's when the results came out. After we've opened a company with another team. So when they when they decided like we need to put this money to a business, I decided like I can't open a separate company when the same business which is being funded is what I've already looked for a team. Let them put this money here. So when the money was put there, we had already had some few experiences with the two team there. The business, it was really not scaling well. We are really taking more time there. Plus, people were feeling like probably it's not going to pay up very quickly.
Yeah.
So when the money came in, people were like, you know what? Why can't we just divide this money then? Do something else? Because I don't really. If we put this money in this business, it might not scale and we will waste the money. And I was like, no.
But the money was not supposed to be divided. It was supposed to do the business.
The business plus, plus now you see, it was the government was like, we are giving this money to Dennis for you to do the business. Yeah. But they didn't realize that I had to already bring people on board who I never knew could have those kind of divided attentions. Yeah. But so what happened is that now I had to bring people on board now to tell us to kind of
conflict resolution.
Exactly. So that's really actually what really happened, and we decided that's now after solving all those problems, I decided like.
So how was it solved? Like you guys, you divided, or did they understand that this money is for Dennis to do the business?
People had to quit because you see these people, most of them, they are employed in
government
stuff.
Something
and
is
it was going to cause conflict of. So what they told them is that this money was meant, because the money was meant for me, but now the money was supposed to be put in a business account.
Which you didn't have.
So because when they came for evaluation and stuff, they're sitting with me, not anybody else. How did you spend the money? It is me. Yeah. So it becomes a challenge when I can't spend money because I have people who can't sign because
they are above the.
No, we all need to sign. You see.
Yeah.
So that's kind of conflict really made it tough, and I decided like let me just. So there was a bit of conflict resolution I cannot disclose here, but I decided now let me venture into a different business. Okay. Yeah.
All together. That's when Kuza came in. But were you able to access that money?
Yes.
Okay.
That's how now Kuza came in, and
that was like the seed funding for Kuza Freezer. Yeah. Tell me, how did you come up with Kuza? Like, did you?
The idea never came. The idea never came from me. It came from my co-founder.
Yeah. Who is the co-founder?
She's Purity. Yeah, Purity Gakuo. What happened is that we met in one of agriculture showground, and
during high school or
no? This after I've already graduated. Okay. This is now the time that I'm having all these businesses and stuff. Yeah. You see, for me, I've been having this background with the community and stuff. Even though I never had that idea, like, okay, cold storage can support these communities. Yeah. But my co-founder has been now working because she's in the hospitality industry. Yeah. She's always working with people in the fish value chain, so trying to find all this kind of seafood stuff. And that's where she had this background. Like, how comes fish directly from farmers is almost 50% less from what is available in the market? And that's where she came to find that there's really a gap in terms of these people lack storage. Most of them who stay off-grid, they depend on ice to preserve. And if they're not able to get a better market or people to buy their catch, they will have to sell to their communities at very throwaway prices. And this really was robbing them a lot of revenue. So she decided, like, why can't we do something? And for me, I had a tech background. She has a research background. Yeah. And that's how we decided, like, I think we can do something. And that's how we decided to bring it up. Yeah.
And at this point now you have 3.6 or some funding around it. I don't know how much.
I can say yeah
to put into this business, so that now you can start. Do you start by building your first freezer? Do you start by looking for a customer and then build it, or do you build a few and then start demoing and showcasing?
The idea, how the idea started. The idea started like, why can't we support these communities with cold storage solutions? So what we decided is, can we get a fridge, a freezer available? It was like an idea of selling.
So even you were not selling.
We were not even producing. That's the fact. We were not producing. We went off shelf, get a product, then work with the community. But now we came to realize that we can't control the prices coming from the market. Yeah, the prices were going very up, especially for solar-related products. Okay. And then that's now raised another question. How can we cut down the cost of this product, because we can't tell these clients that everyday prices are going up. Imported products, the prices are always not flexible.
Fluctuation,
Yeah, plus they are very high.
Yeah.
And that's why the idea of why can't we do something? Why can't we make a local solution to solve the local problems?
Yeah.
I don't have a background in refrigeration. I had a little background in solar energy, even though that's things I had to start finding out how else I could get background in that.
Yeah.
So we decided to collaborate with few people who have experience in fabrication. And that's why we decided, like, let's work with people who are in the boat industry, who are currently manufacturing boats. They know the designs. We can make cooler boxes or freezers from the designs.
Yeah.
We can mold them.
Yeah.
So that's how we made our first product. Tested with the market. Got a lot of feedback in terms of performance and everything, because this is a manually produced product.
Yeah.
So that's how we got our first product on the fishing boat for for fishermen in Mombasa. Yeah, so I think the aspect of local manufacturing reduced the cost by almost 50%.
Wow, that's
because I can say only 30% of the raw materials were imported.
Yeah.
And that really motivated us. Like, I think we can go big and better if we try to produce something locally. Yeah.
And this is fascinating, man, because if you think about it, even the aspect of locally producing the material here cuts the cost to that extent.
Yeah.
Then there's so much actually that can, through ripple effect, that includes hardware and construction, that could really mean that if we give it more attention, it could actually become affordable. Now that's aside.
Yeah.
So you create your first freezer. Who do you sell it to, or do you go to this fish community and start showing them the capability?
So what we did first, I think everything came from the research background.
Okay.
Who are the people you were working with? Before working with the fishermen, we decided to look at which people can we partner with.
Yeah.
And the first people we looked into were actually the beach management units. These are people governing fishermen.
Yeah.
All the fishermen have to report to these beach management units, which are also known as BMUs.
Yeah.
So working with them made it easy for us to access a lot of fishermen. There are about around 10 or 5 to 10 BMUs here in Mombasa.
Yeah. Thousands or?
No. I can say within Mombasa, BMUs, but one BMU can have hundreds.
What is BMU?
Beach management units.
Okay.
So this, after Kenya Fisheries, we have BMUs.
And it's something recognized by the county.
Yeah. So these are now people who are directly now working with the small scale fishermen. Yeah. So working with them, I think the strategy there was, how can we access the fisher folks? Once we access them, now it was easy for us now to show them what we had, discuss with them more in details, get the feedback, and also see how best can we bridge that cold storage challenge. So that's how we got our first pilot tested with the BMUs, people going deep sea fishing. Yeah, but it has been a process of iteration and getting feedback, trying to improve here and there with the kind of feedbacks. Yeah.
Wow, nice. Yes. And in this case, you're talking about just Mombasa region, or even up to Lamu, Malindi, Kilifi,
yes,
all the way down to Diani, Tanga, because all that is like it's way of form. It has some fishers.
Yeah, our focus was not just mainly on people who are in the coastal fishing communities, but it was basically for people who are dealing with fish. So think about fish farmers, think about fish vendors, think about fish suppliers. These are people who want to move fish from remote places to point B, still maintaining the quality. So cold storage is key for them. So these are the kind of people we've been working with. And the coastal community really helped us in testing this product and improving it.
Yeah.
But after sometimes when you realize like this product is appealing to different market segments.
Yeah.
Is appealing for people who want to supply fish.
Yeah.
And also vendors who have their own vending shops distributed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So it even to some extent you found it scalable.
Of course, because what I can tell you is that we, after starting telling our story about what we're doing with the fishing communities, we realized Tanzania and other countries
also
who are also having
thing.
the same problem.
Yeah.
They're asking how can we become your distributors? You see, but now at that level whereby you're doing small scale production, you still don't have better machinery to produce.
Yeah.
It becomes a challenge to take up that deal, even though you can't tell people that we can't produce at that scale right now. Yeah.
Amazing, man. And for you now, the world is catching up with your innovation, and you're all over. You're in India.
Yeah.
You're in which other countries have you gone to demonstrate this solution?
Yeah. Of course. All this is because of the acceleration programs. I think one of the things which has really boosted us as a startup in terms of visibility and at the same time linking us to potential investors and funders is actually having linked to acceleration programs. Yeah. We have been to various acceleration programs.
Okay.
One is known as Solar X, International Solar Alliance, which had kind of a project known as Solar X Challenge in India. Yeah. So through the acceleration program, now we were able to access potential partnership in India. Yeah. Then we had Ocean Hub Africa, who are currently supporting us, and we've been able to access partners, people we can partner with in South Africa. Yeah, so I think all these regions we've been able to travel to is because of the partners that we were linked to, who are opening doors to various areas of scaling, and probably either through market linkage or through partnership to scale our production. Yeah.
And Chief, the other day you met a few leaders. You met our president. What was his take around your innovation?
Well, it was. I can say it wasn't directly with the president, but yeah. But the good thing is that you see, our innovation has really grown to it is because of the kind of support you're getting from different people. Yeah, I can say a lot of leaders have seen the potential in the innovation. Yeah, because even the Mbelena base, there are leaders who saw this innovation and they really also supported in linking us to these big leaders in the country. And you see, the country right now, one of the big four agenda is manufacturing. And for us, trying to promote local manufacturing is one of the pillars which they are really pushing. And this is something that we really know that can really create a lot of jobs and also improve livelihoods for people here in Kenya. So a lot of leaders are really interested for this kind of a solution which is creating that kind of impact.
Yeah. Were you in Algeria?
I was in Algeria, yes. Yeah.
What was happening there?
Algeria, there was, we call it, it was a summit. There was a summit in Algeria where startups across Africa were invited to network with other startups and also pitch to investors, because there was a lot of investors who came across the country, across the continent. Yeah. And it was really a good opportunity for us to also establish potential networks with the people we could collaborate in different dimensions. Yeah. Plus, you see a lot of leaders from different countries in Africa were also present to hear what we are doing, and this is really creating a lot of potential partnership to scale. Yeah.
So, have you gotten any investment so far from all these engagements?
Yeah, sure. I can't say that it is enough investment that we've been looking at to scale, but it's an investment which has really enabled us to achieve quite a huge impact so far. Yeah.
And even test some of your modules.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So any other places you have visited so far? You have visited so many countries I can't keep track for different ventures. Maybe.
I think it's a blessing to move all these places, which is really. Because for me, I never knew that innovation can take me those kind of places. Yeah. But something really good, because I'm now, I can say, when you go to a different country, especially those which are developed, like German, which I also travel to, you really get your mind opened up. Yeah. The way you perceive innovation, you realize there's quite a lot of gaps. Yeah. There's quite something you can do better. Yeah. Yeah, and those kind of challenging environments, especially when you're challenged with your idea on how best you can improve it, then I think that's one of the things which was really great for this kind of market linkage programs. And for Berlin, it was through Sotehub.
Oh, Sotehub,
Sotehub linked us now to this kind of market linkage program, which was really great.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, one of the things I realized that, which has really supported our business, was finding a place in the community whereby there are people who are sharing this kind of vision and willing to work with you that kind of journey. Yeah, and that's why we really have that confidence working through with these incubation, acceleration hubs in Kenya who are really sharing that kind of vision. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Dennis, we are so proud of what you're doing, and it's great. And I'm sure even your siblings now, at least they can see our big bro.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I'm happy that I have also become an inspiration for many people. People who have actually seen my journey growing up in the startup world. They know how I struggled, like how we started this kind of stuff. And they know that now, even though in their own small level of development they are in, something can grow to a big thing.
Yeah, you made so many people believe, actually. And I know you for one resilient guy, man. Like, every time I visited Mombasa, you are building something. Always.
Yeah.
And it was always something new, up to some extent. I think I've ever asked you, like, what happened to the other idea?
Yeah.
You're telling me, you know that one? We pivoted. Now we're in this one, but this is how it works. That's what you're doing. And it's amazing, man, to see you put more effort in some of these. Entrepreneurs, before they really, get that breakpoint moment, is from that resilience that they establish, and you're one of those guys.
Yeah.
So what is the next for Kuza Freezer? What should you expect? When we go to any supermarket, can we now buy it? Maybe in Europe, maybe in America. Is it a brand that you are looking forward one day to be found in every other shelf where you can get it, however small or big?
Yeah, the issue is not about actually scaling to other countries. The scaling is a bigger picture, of course, which is really positive. But the issue here is that there's still quite a huge potential. Don't even go far in East Africa. The issue here is, in the next few years, we are seeing Kuza Freezer becoming a facility whereby we are able to create solutions, especially in the cold storage space, which are really, it's like an enabler for people. Because for us, we don't want to keep building cold storage solutions. That's not the kind of lifestyle we want to be. But what we want to do is that we want to have solutions which can attract different players in place to create impact in their own ways. Like what I told you is that having a cold storage solution which is bringing suppliers, people in the fish value chain who are doing supply. These are people who are tapping to an already existing solution we have built, and they have found a way of improving their livelihoods through that direction. So I think for us, we want to scale production and impact as more lives as possible, especially in curbing post-harvest losses. Working with people right now we are focused in people in the fish value chain, but our cold storage solution is something which has potential to scale to even different market segments. We have people in health, we have people in dairy. We have people even in poultry who need this kind of solution. So scaling this solution will create so much potential to different people to find meaningful use for the solution and improve their livelihoods.
Because that's what actually matters when it comes to such solution, the impact that actually that has. Because if people can really improve their livelihood, they can afford education, they can afford basic needs, then you see a ripple effect in an economy, socioeconomic growth in that community. And this, I see it really improving the way things are. But do you have plans to even explore value chain, just to make sure that yes, you can actually preserve your fish this way, but if things go well, you get maybe some investment. Can you even have where people, process the fish, package it, export, or even, distribute across the country?
I think all those are potential areas of scale that we are looking into. Right now, the the next step that you're seeing there is that there are quite a huge, say, number of people who have yet to access cold storage, and scaling production and coming up with a sustainable business model which is relevant for people in low income communities. Then I think this solution will be able to reach so many people in different levels. Yeah. So scaling production is our next big thing. How can we scale local manufacturing, produce products which can be now exported to neighboring countries, and reach as many people as possible, especially those in the fish value chain.
Oh, so amazing. So something else that maybe I'm requesting my guests is to talk to our audience, encourage them, try to encourage them to subscribe, follow us, so that we can grow as I know we'll have so many podcasts, especially in different regions, and also with you, because you're also growing, and I'm sure maybe 2-3 years from now we'll be able to talk about other things. When we come back, maybe we'll talk to more audience. You'll be able to reach more Okangis out there.
Absolutely.
So please feel free.
Yeah, sure. I think first of all, for me, is to thank you for this kind of platform, because I know this for me is a true story which I've really shared, and it's something which I'm really always like bowing to it, because I know where I've come from. Then I know the process, and I know where I'm heading to. Especially knowing where I'm heading to is even the biggest part, because this is what is always a motivational factor. So having these kind of opportunities, I always don't take them for granted, because this is areas I've always been leveraging on to take my skills, my business to the next level. I think for me, what I can tell the people probably watching is that entrepreneurship is not for the faint heart. Exactly. And it's something, if you have passion in doing something, and if you really have that kind of big vision, that's the only thing which can really always wake you up, even at midnight, because you know that there is something which you have not yet achieved. It always be a motivational factor. And being in a position whereby you're willing to learn, don't always like think that you always have the best idea, but always be ready to learn, and always think the top-down approach. Because for us, as I started my first business, which I can say that they didn't do well. The approach was different. But when I decided to go back to the community, start with the people first, learn what the challenge are going through, then now devise ways of creating a solution for them, then they'll be willing to pay, because this solution will fit their problems. So all these are some things that I've been able to learn, and there is no way better to reach audiences, reach partners, people who will be able to understand the solution without being in this kind of setup. And that's why I'm really grateful for these opportunities. One of the things I can actually tell you is that Africa Stocking is one of the things which has really been powering our pay as you go. When customers pay, when customers make payments for our products, they need to get notification via SMS and stuff. Actually, SMS part is what has been really a powerful tool in controlling payments and letting customers know what's going on. And this is what probably I can tell people, that there's quite a lot of tools they can use. There's quite a lot of people they can leverage on, like you, and get various ways to advance the ideas and take them to the market. Very nice. You mean MK, or you mean Africa Stocking? For me right now, I'm saying you, because you've introduced me to this. But Africa Stocking, probably I knew it in a different way. I never knew that Africa Stocking could still bring us together at the point. But because when I met you, it was I was mostly doing my own in different kind of projects. But the project I was doing is what introduced me to I think Africa Stocking has APIs which are more friendly to kind of interact with, and that's what has actually also formed the core basis of what we do right now. And I mean, you actually said something very important, because you see, when you're growing business, what matters is scale. And I think what we shared back in the day
Think of how many years now? 2017 now is 7 years. 7 years ago, when you're scaling, you really need it because, of course, there's tooling, there's all this.
Yeah.
Now the tech that actually supports that, so it comes in handy. And if you want to find me easy, for those who don't know, please, if you see any event that is being hosted either by Africa Stocking or any other community, and you see Michael Kimathi as one of the participant speaker or whichever that is happening, please, that's the best place to meet me. And whenever I get a chance, I share as much as I can because I'm passionate about Africa as a solution provider, as well as creating opportunities that surpass time. I believe all of us, the biggest duty we have in Africa, if you're in Africa, is to leave Africa better than we found it.
Absolutely.
So, before I conclude, I would like to share one African proverb about fish. About fish. So, our proverb today says, this one is interesting. If water was enough, fish will not take bait.
What does that really mean?
Let me repeat so that we can all translate. So if water was enough, fish will not take bait. So regardless of what is happening in the world, regardless of the circumstances you are in, you should not settle. You should not say, this is it. And you can even take a fish in an ocean. We all know ocean is endless, right? It's bigger than even land mass. But still, if you give the fish the bait, it will take. But now in your case, investors will always know that regardless of how you think your business will scale, you still take the bait of investment.
But
no, it's just from this story. I know right now you are more smarter, but this proverb could be actually you can learn from it on different perspectives. But please go ahead.
I was saying like it doesn't mean that all investors are good.
All investors are bad.
Not all investors are bad. Not all investors are good.
Yes.
All investors come with different. I can say they always have their own package. So it's better for you to know which investor with
aligns
different package
with you.
Exactly.
Yes. So even the fish thinks the bait aligns with it. But this is just a
you might have a wrong bait.
Then you take the wrong bait. But of course, this is a proverb. You can translate it according to your context and learn from it.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you guys who are watching us to give us feedback, tell us how it was. Did you learn something?
Yeah.
Also subscribe, enable notification bell on YouTube. We're on YouTube as Impact Masters Podcast. If you search Impact Masters Podcast or Impact Masters Media, you'll always find us there. Also, if you search Africa Stocking Retold Podcast, you'll find it. And you'll see even our previous guests try to share, support, and all that. But also we exist in all podcast channels such as Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast, Hi-Hat, which is the biggest digital radio in the world. Amongst your favorite podcasts channel. And if you go on Buzzsprout and search Impact Masters Podcasts, you can even download this podcast and listen to it over time as you drive, as you exercise. Because sometimes listening to other people's story actually makes you learn faster on what they did and what they didn't do, and even support. Because maybe I encourage people even to invest more in Africa. Why not? So without further ado, this is Michael Kimathi representing Impact Masters Podcasts in collaboration with Africa Stocking Podcasts. And actually today I would like to give shout out to our videographer, producer, site manager who is just behind the camera, Oliver Were Akolo. And by the way, interesting aspect is that they went to school together with our guest today.
Yeah.
And even the same scholarship program. So it's really, it's not a coincidence actually if you think about it, because when I knew you, I didn't know Oliver, but we met Oliver on other circumstances. And now we are actually telling shooting the stories, telling the stories. So shout out. So if you see the videos or the editing, everything is a guy behind the camera. Shout out to him. And until further notice, thank you so much.
Thank you.